Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Greetings and welcome back. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
What's up, everybody? This is Jay Ray. What's happening? My mom just called, so hold on, you guys. It's Jay Ray, co-host of Q Points, and sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, people? I'm here. I'm on mute.
You are tuned in to Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history, your favorite podcast for all things. And I'm laughing right along with you, Jay Ray, because, that's life. That is life. And these things happen. We always got to check in on mom, regardless of where we are and what we are doing. Mom comes first. But this is your place for conversation, meaningful conversation regarding all things Black artistry and paying homage to great things that a lot of Black artists have done in the past. And tonight is no different. We have got quite a show for you. J-Ray, like I said, I'm late to the party, but the way you have been talking about this particular album for years now is infectious, and I've caught on. And I can't wait for us to delve into the topic this evening. And shout out to one of our early guests, L. Dennis is in the building. Thank you for tuning in.
That's my cuzzo.
What up, cuzzo? So, J. Ray, please let the folks know how they can maintain contact with us and be in the know of all things Q Points podcast.
Absolutely, y'all. So check it. One of the things you can actually do, you're already doing. If you are hearing Sir Daniel and I, that means you are listening to the podcast. So make sure that you subscribe and also make sure that you share the podcast with other people. It is absolutely free. There's no money involved in that. The only thing you have to do is subscribe and tell folks. So that's number one. Number two, if you want to go a step further, you can become a Q Points Insider. You can become a Q Points Insider by visiting our website at qpoints.com and clicking the subscribe button. When you do that, you are able to support Sir Daniel and I to keep the Q Points machine going. I know we've said this before, but I think it's important. It costs money to run Q Points, right? We have systems that make this thing go. Even when one of us is on the road, right? The show still has to go, right? So we have systems in place to make that happen. So you can become a Q Point subscriber. If you're like, listen, I just want to give these brothers a little something, you know what I'm saying? You could drop us a tip on our Patreon. And the last, but certainly not least thing is you can buy some swag in our store. So if you visit store.qpoints.com, you can buy something and then you can rock it and you can send us a picture and then it's spreading the message about the show. So all of those things are totally acceptable, from free to not free. We just appreciate y'all being here.
Absolutely. So before we delve into the topic, J-Ray, and thank you for that update. One, I have to say our Q Points magazine, when I tell you it is chef's kiss, it is so dope. It's beautiful. It looks it's compelling to read and to share with others. And so I just want to tell you thank you, J Ray, because J Ray is really good at putting that together. And I will be getting on the ball as far as contributing more because now I have more time. I'm not going to get into why I have more
Right.
time, but but I will be contributing more to that magazine. But yes, it looks superb. But
Thank
J
you.
Ray, I understand you are on a business trip right
Yeah.
now, but you
Yeah.
did something really interesting today with regards to Trey. Now you know we got a magazine.
Yes, we got a magazine, magazine.qpoints.com.
And
Get into it.
Trey, you're an insider, so it's coming directly to you. You
It
get
should,
first dibs.
yeah, it should be in your inbox. And if you're not, go ahead and sign up, Trey. I think you're on there, but maybe
You
not.
should be.
Check your spam. Check your
Yes.
spam.
Check your spam.
So, um, so
You supported a black business
I
today.
did. So, well, I did so many things today. So, I actually want to mention two of them. So, the first thing that I did, I'm in town. I'm in Houston. I've never been to Houston before. Houston's really big.
Better known as hosting, but go
Uh,
ahead.
uh, that DJ Sir Daniel has stories. Um, but I today went to Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics, which is a black owned comic book store here in Houston. And it is a beautiful shop. It's down in the third ward, which is a historic black area of Houston. And I got a chance to, one, talk to the owner, Byron Kennedy. Shout out to Byron. Buy a bunch of things that I'm going to be giving some stuff as gifts that I bought from the store. And really, really enjoyed myself. So if you're ever in Houston, and in fact, there's his store, and then there is a black-owned bookstore next to it. This is owned by a black woman. I didn't get a chance to go in there because I was on my way to another appointment and I ran out of time. So I'm going to go there before I leave town tomorrow. So I'm going to spend more money. Ciao. Oh my God, I love a black-owned business. Uh,
Listen, I'm here to tell you that if you're a black owned business and you're even in the presence of J Ray, oh, he's gonna drop some money in your lap. He is going to purchase your wares, and that's a good thing. That's a great spirit that we all should have, and that we should all patronize the folks that are trying to do the thing as far as entrepreneurship and big business, small businesses, I should
Absolutely.
say.
Absolutely. So did that, and then I went over to the Houston African American Museum
Ooh.
and got a tour of that particular museum and their current exhibit. Also, did some stuff at the gift shop over there. So I've really been digging in today to Houston, in particular Black Houston and Black Houston history, and I've really had a good time. And so after the show tonight, I'm probably gonna pop back out and see what Houston's nightlife is giving a little bit. I'm gonna only have one drink, y'all. I'm old and I'm gonna go to sleep, but but it has been a really good trip here to Houston.
Disco naps are real. For us Gen Xers, disco naps are a real thing. And if you're not taking them, I strongly suggest that you start taking them if you have any plans of going out after you've had done your 9 to 5 and
Yes.
did all the adulting that you have to do in the daytime. But right now, let's delve into before we do that,
Mhm.
something I had a conversation with our Instagram conversation with our brother. What is his name? Stephen Hicks.
Yes. Shout
Regarding
out to Steven.
shout out to Stephen. So Stephen hit me up because of a music selection that I chose for a post that I did for Saturday's Wax Fundamentals event at JB's Record Lounge here in Atlanta, and I chose the Gordon Osby remix of Raise that features CL Smooth.
Uh-huh.
And Steven hit me and was like, yo, shout out to you for that song selection. And we got into this conversation. I was like, yo, I don't know how that song memory got unlocked.
Hmm.
But that song, Spirit, came to me and just kept playing that song in my head. I would hum along to it. And then next thing you know, I've gone down this rabbit hole of CL Smooth and Gordon Osby. That song is so dope. It just automatically transports me back to the hip hop jazz era that was
Hmm.
prominent in the early 90s. And yeah, it's just something to revisit. Not for nothing, CL Smooth has a pretty decent singing voice, if you recall.
I
I
don't
was
recall that. Okay, so
Yeah,
I have to one. I'm probably familiar with this song by ear. So I'm gonna
yes.
go. I didn't see that post. I haven't been on social media a lot this week,
Hmm.
but I will check that out. But I think the thing about CL Smooth that it is important for us to mention. In fact, we probably just need to do a Pete Rock and CL Smooth show because there's so much to cover. But CL Smooth, particularly in that from the like 91 to like 95,
Yes,
had such a solid run of guest appearances and his joints with Pete Rock that he deserves his flowers. So definitely shout out to CL Smooth.
absolutely. So, Fairy Hive, are y'all ready? Y'all ready to get into it? So, as I stated at the top of the show, um, J. Ray and countless friends of mine have been uber fans of the Cree Summers classic Street Fairy. And I'm going to be honest with you all, I'm late to the party because you know how people are really into something and they keep telling you you should check it out, and the contrarian and you just is like, oh yeah, I'll check it out later, and you never
Mm-hmm.
do. That's what happened to me. But in preparation for this show, I got into it. And I absolutely get why everybody is head over heels over this project, over this Cree Summers project. First of all, let's just start with Cree Summers and
Mm-hmm.
just love on Cree Summers just for being the ultimate black girl icon
Yep.
to us, especially us Gen Xers, because she has been a recognizable voice in our lives since I can recall, since I was at least 7 years old, watching
Yeah.
the Inspector Gadget cartoon.
Yep. Yeah. Cree Summer, I did not have a concept of how ingrained Cree's voice was until I got older, right? Until I probably got into my late teenage years. And then I realized, like, oh, she was the voice of Penny and all of this stuff, where I realized all of the voiceover work. I, of
Mm-hmm.
course, was most familiar with her, like many folks, as Freddie
Right?
from a different world, not realizing there was this whole other history. But when you just take that and put it into context, you have this person's voice who has been with you since childhood. So has really been part of your formative years, right? Just their essence, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Then you have teenage you, as we are as Gen Xers, right? So Cree's image, like physical image, the curly hair, the kind of whimsical, but the black girl who was a little quirky image.
Mm-hmm.
Cree Summer showed us another kind of black woman, right? That was really unique. And that's one of the other things that she was able to do is bring in, like, we're not a monolith. Like, black women are different. And Cree Summer
Absolutely.
was a different kind of black woman.
It's so funny. I think Cree has definitely crept back into our collective conscious with her recent appearances in Swarm.
Swarm. Mm-hmm.
She pops up in Swarm. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Definitely have to check it out. And she was also in the final episode of Atlanta. And J Ray, I know you still haven't checked
I
out
have
that
not checked
series
out
yet,
Atlanta yet. Yep.
but she made an appearance in the final season of Atlanta. So yes, she's back. She's like back on our radar, you know. And so now we are, as I said, I've always been cognizant of this album, of this body of work. But now that you and countless people have been like, yeah, we need to talk about this album, I had a chance, as you said, to
Mhm.
get into to sink my teeth into it. And you are absolutely right. First of all, so this came out in 99.
Mhm.
Um Produced by Lenny Kravitz.
Yep.
There's a lot of work written on here by Van Hunt, or as we
Mhm.
affectionately call him, Mr. Halle Berry,
Right. Living his best life.
living his absolute best life. And this commune of like wonderful young black Hollywood, young black
Mhm.
musicians that are coming together to support this project. And it honestly, this is like 1999 was such a golden year because not
It
only did we
was.
get Street Fairy, but we also got Kaleidoscope by Khalees,
Police. Yep.
then which led to Reese.
Mhm.
Then we saw Santi Gold, and then we saw
Yep.
more and more
J
of
Davy. Can we have
J
to show love to
Davy.
J Davy.
We saw more and more of these, as you put it, black superstars who don't fit the mold of what we've been
Mhm.
given, but but definitely show that we are not a monolith, that we can do all kinds of music and do it well. Because all of these projects were snapping from top to bottom. I mean, Lenny
Mhm.
Kravitz alone has proven that he's got the juice, he's got the it
Yes.
factor. And
Mhm.
so this all of this is coming full circle because if you haven't watched it, Jerry and I had a conversation with Divinity Rocks and Eugene Howell the Fourth.
No, Eugene
Is it
Russell the fourth.
Russell? Where I don't know where I got Howell from, but Eugene Russell the Fourth, who are the co-musical directors of the Boy Who Kissed the Sky, which is a new play opening up here in Atlanta at the Alliance Theater,
Mhm.
regarding the influence of Jimi Hendrix on this fictional young man, and we talked about his music, and Divinity brought up a great point. She said, at some point, black folks got duped into believing that rock and
Yes.
roll music is not our music.
Yep.
And countless times we are shown over and over again, from Bad Brains to Janelle
Mhm.
Monáe, that rock and roll is in fact part of our diaspora, part of our wheelhouse.
Yep. Absolutely. Like the one, please go and check out that conversation that we
Yes.
had with Divinity and Eugene. It is a wonderful story. And also, if you are anywhere near the Atlanta area between April 1st and April 15th, go over to alliancetheater.org and get tickets to see The Boy Who Kissed the Sky. Um, One of the things that came up for us, this reminds me of our country music series.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same formula. So the same formula that white folks used to co-opt country is exactly what happened to co-opt rock and roll, right? So
Yep.
what happened, the same thing happened again with rock and roll, was also the rise of rhythm and blues, right? So you have rock and roll, and then it's like, okay, let's make this R&B thing, like let's rise that up and be the thing that black folks can do, right? And then white folks, we can do rock and roll. Okay, with country music it was the same thing. We're going to rise up and say, oh, jazz and blues, black folks, y'all can do jazz and blues, we're going to go ahead and do country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And drawing these really defined lines about, and it gets ingrained, right? So the very same thing. I love that Divinity says we got duped. And so that's from the programming of radio, the types of music that play on black stations.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the criminality is, Sir Daniel, you can't turn on what is traditional black radio today and hear Cree Summer Street Fairy or anything like it.
Right.
If you got too much guitar in that thing, it's probably not going to play. And same thing with country. If it's got a little too much twang in that guitar, it's probably not going to play. But all of this music started with us.
We have to start reclaiming it. Just like I've been saying, we need to reclaim saxophone solos in
Can we
in our
please get
songs. We
sax
got
solos?
bring back the sax solos. Sometimes when I'm at Rocksteady and I'm doing, the R&B slow jam joints, I will let that saxophone solo play. I don't care. Y'all gonna get this saxophone and you all are going to love it. It is ours. Clarence, what is his name? Clarence Jeffries did not die for y'all not to be enjoying these saxophone solos. We are going to take it and we're going to enjoy it.
Um,
So, can I ask you a
go,
question?
please, please.
So, because I have you here to talk about it, what was it about Street Faërie that had you in the chokehold? Like, first of all,
Mm,
who hipped you to it?
mhm.
And then what was like the moment you were like, oh, I need this in my life. I'm going to continue loving this album from the turn of the century now to fast forward to 25 plus years later.
So, well, during the time when this record came out,
Mm-hmm.
I was at that phase of music collection where you're always hip to what's coming. So I
Right.
was always watching the list of the calendar for what's coming. I remember specifically being getting this album. I was with Leon, my friend Leon, who I used to spend a lot of time with down in Washington D.C. and Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
In from 97 to like the early 2000s. And we got this record. And I remember playing it in the car, not knowing what to expect, right? So to describe the cover, you kind of have this copper colored, um, high,
Sepia.
yes, sepia, highly flashed Cree just kind of peering at you on the cover. So we didn't know what to expect, right? And then what came in was the sound of nature and then this guitar for Revelation Sunshine, right? And then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so we're getting like a pop rock record.
Mm-hmm.
So I got hit just because I was paying attention to what was coming out. And I got it because I don't remember there being like a single drop, like where there was like something for us to sink our teeth into before, which is actually probably kind of criminal. I need to look and see what the singles looked like
I
for this.
I don't recall a rollout at
There
all.
wasn't like there wasn't one. It just kind of the album just kind of appeared, right? And
Yeah.
then produced by Lenny Kravitz, and Lenny was literally at the height of his like ascending to the height of his
Superpowers. Yeah.
superpowers at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So what I will tell you that hearing Cree's tone, she has a very unique tone, which sounds like her speaking voice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Um, with these whimsical lyrics that she's singing, um, hooked me right in, right? So I'm like, okay, there's an energy in this record that I like. So that's the thing that hooked me was Street Fairy sounds like nature. It sounds like the earth. It sounds like spirit speaking to you. And that's what really hooked me in. And then as I went through, you get the themes of feminism and womanhood, you get the themes of love, you get the themes of blackness, all interwoven into this album. And it is, even in 2023, I played this record in the car and was like, this record goes. It still goes. This record is Teen No Skips for J Ray. I will play
Got
it and let it keep going from top to bottom.
it.
I want to get my book in my Revelation Sunshine to my Curious White Boy and everything in between. And seeing me singing "Life Goes On" at the top of my lungs, it I will do it every time. I'm gonna do it after we done with this show. So that is what hooked me into this.
So, as you were saying that in our chat, Trey makes a very good point, or asks a very good question, wondering if it was strategically done that there was no rollout so that people could take her musicianship seriously because she was known as a television star, as a voiceover actress. And, but there's also, Carlton is also saying that Revelation Sunshine might have been the rollout single. So,
Yep.
there two things could be true at the same time.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, because this she could have easily been on TRL. I did not see her on TRL.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely wasn't going to be on 106 in Park at that time. Well, not for her
Right.
music,
No.
but
should have been, honestly.
should have, absolutely should have been. And I love that we have cue points to revisit these projects like this to give it the love that it deserves. That these
Yeah.
projects deserve. And so you
Can
and
I
I
ask you a question?
certainly.
So before we go any further, so you decided to play some cuts from this record, right?
Mm-hmm.
What what were your thoughts? Like what how did you feel and what did you think? I'm curious.
So I definitely felt all the things you were talking about because it clearly immediately sounds like Lenny Kravitz.
It does.
The production,
Mm-hmm.
the feeling behind it. I heard Lenny from background vocals to just the guitar progressions, all of that. I can hear Lenny, and of course, it felt familiar because of Cree's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Automatic. So I felt safe. I felt like, oh, I'm gonna be good here, listening to this project. And then also, like I said before, I've had my tastes have allowed me to accept, a Reese, a
Mm-hmm.
Khalees, a Janelle Monáe, a Jay Davy, as you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
Van Hunt,
Yep.
Bilal, all these different people, because we had what was that Sugar Water Festival? We had the Lilith fairs at that time,
Mm-hmm.
so we were exposed to combinations of blackness in the music,
Yeah.
and so I felt safe listening to it. Then I got into it
Yeah.
because I started hearing the lyrics, and then I started hearing the grooves because it's still black. We still gonna
Right.
have a groove. We're still gonna have a hook that I'm going to get entangled into.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my three standouts to me was Mean Sleep, Deliciously Down, and Curious White Boy. Curious White Boy I thought was ahead of its time, and I
Absolutely.
and needed to be said because
Mm-hmm.
you have these young people that were involved in Black Hollywood, and I can only imagine the types of relationships or people that would come to them as Black women.
Yep.
And so that's addressed in that song.
Yeah.
But Mean Sleep, I went into the rabbit hole and was listening to Mean Sleep, and then I saw underneath, because Mean Sleep is written by Van Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
I saw that Van Hunt did his own recording
Mm-hmm.
of Mean Sleep featuring Nika Costa. Now,
And we love Nika Costa
Nika
too.
Costa's dope.
Yeah.
However, that's Lenny and Cree's song.
Point blank period.
That's Cree and Lenny's song. Um, yeah, I didn't need to hear the Van Hunt version. Shout out to you for writing it, Van Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You put your foot into that. Loved it. But Cree and Lenny I don't know, there was a marriage between their voices that just did it for me. And
Yep.
so, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Again, late to the party, shame on me. But
Mm-hmm.
now I am part of the Fairy Hive. So
I love
that's
that we gave them a name. I want to revisit a bit of the history of this record, just really at a really high level, because I
Certainly.
think that's also important to understand how this came together. So, um, as the story goes, so Lenny Kravitz talked about this in his Behind the Music.
Hmm.
So they actually did. It's funny that Behind the Music probably came out close to when this record came out, because they actually dedicated a pretty good chunk of that Behind the Music to it. So as it turns out, it was Lisa Bonet who apparently in the 80s, like when Lenny and Lisa had first gotten married, it was Lisa Bonet, who of course is best friends with Cree Summer, that suggested that Lenny produce Cree. And Lenny talked about, for a lot of reasons it just didn't happen. Um but more than a decade later, they got the opportunity. Cree had gotten a record deal with Work Records, which was being distributed by Sony. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is perfect timing for me and Cree to work together. And so um that is the other beautiful thing about this, is it truly does sound like two friends working together. So you have Lenny and Cree writing together and bringing all of this, and you have of course Van Hunt coming in and being part of that process as well. It feels very family oriented, like these people know each other. But yeah, this record, really the genesis of it started with Lisa Bonet years, a decade or more prior, suggesting that they needed to figure something out. And then it happened. And just a quick note, one of my favorite songs on the record is Miss Moon, which is track 2. And Lisa Bonet's other name is Lilikoi Moon. And so Miss Moon is actually about Lisa Bonet. And so that's the other part I like, is this whole group of people, they will bring in, their folks into the project either directly or as an homage. And so yeah,
You,
Miss Moon
you,
is dedicated to Lisa.
and you even see Zoe Kravitz, who is
Yep.
Lisa and Lenny's
Lisa.
daughter, in
Yep.
the
And oh, that was in the
video for
shoot. It was a
Savior.
singer. Yeah, Save Yourself.
Save
Yep.
Yourself, yes.
Yep.
And so,
Which came after this record. That wasn't even on this record.
wow. So to your point, I automatically started thinking about all these bohemian baddies just hanging out in the late 80s, and because Lisa's the it girl from
Yep.
television. She's Denise Huxtable. You know,
Baby.
she's Denise
Everybody's
Huxtable,
crush. Everybody's
everybody's
crush.
crush, absolutely. And then she gets her own spin-off with a different
Mm-hmm.
world. And I'm just seeing like the stars are all aligning. Like they get
Yep.
to be on the show together, even
Mm-hmm.
though Cree came onto a
Cree
different
came
world
after
after
Lisa left. He
left,
came
right?
season 2. So Lisa Bonet had gone. But I'm sure Lisa was like, y'all gotta just put Cree in. Like, Cree is gonna be my replacement.
Like, like, hey man, you
Hey
know,
man.
you gotta put my Earth sister Cree into the show. Like she's gonna be really, really rad for the show. No, but I'm just enthralled by that whole how close the black Hollywood community is. I'm sure there are different sects, of course, this depending on the era that you entered into Black Hollywood. But can you imagine? You got all these kids running together. You've got Cree, you've got Lisa, you've got
Mm-hmm.
Lenny, you've got the guy who plays Shazad. All of those
Mm-hmm.
people, rolling together in Hollywood, communing with each other, making music,
Mm.
writing projects together. That is an had to have been an amazing time to be part of that class, that graduating class of Black Hollywood.
Yeah, and yes, yes. And I'm curious, we probably have to look at some of the interviews of the A Different World cast. You know what? I do remember Jasmine Guy saying, well, she's in that universe too, right? All of these folks. Um, I don't think they knew I don't think they knew at the time the impact that they were having or how important the work that they were doing was. But I do but that's fascinating though. Like the fact that they were all out there doing this work, creating this different kind of art and making space. So now a Zoe Kravitz can have an A-list career, right?
Exactly.
Um, we get Insecure and the Issa Raes of the world can
The awkward
exist.
black
The
girls.
awkward black girl can exist because of the work put in by like a Cree Summer in this era, right? I want to go through a couple of my joints. Curious White Boy, of course, being one of my favorites as well. I want to read some lyrics from Curious White Boy because I think people need to understand what Cree was giving you with Curious White Boy. And okay, another housekeeper fantasy, Aphrodite, coffee colored remedy for your
Mhm.
hangover from history. I know your daddy and your brothers too well, and his friends made me swear I wouldn't tell. What?
She said, "I'm not going to be your belly warmer. I'm not going to be your what's her name? Sarah Thomas Jefferson's
Oh.
bed wench. You know, she's like, I'm not going to be your bed wench. I'm not going to be your occasional chocolate fantasy because,
Mhm.
and that was, you know, that was pretty controversial. Well, not controversial, but it was like the truth that was spoken out loud, especially in that era. It's like everybody's talking about, you know, all these different interracial relationships
Mhm.
and but she's saying, okay, but why are you attracted to me? Are you doing this just to piss your family off? Is this a
Mhm.
part of your rebellious stage? Are you going to take me home to meet your parents kind of thing?
Curious
Like,
White Boy, when am I going to meet your mama? Cause I met your daddy. Cause I met your daddy already.
right. Ah, and but do you think she's not actually talking about your daddy? She's talking about
Mm-mm.
all your
Oh, your
daddies.
daddies. Yep.
All your daddies. We know who your people are. And are
Mm.
you capable of dealing with that? So that's a pretty heavy statement considering, you know,
And yeah, in 99, like this type of conversation we're having today seems normal. But in 99, you know, the only people that were kind of having conversations like this was really in hip hop. Like you
mhm.
would get women MCs kind of going here, but what Cree was doing was being a black woman in a rock context, saying this rock. So imagine Cree having to stand in front of these lily white audiences and sing this song.
Yep. Yep. And
It's
funny,
heavy.
and another layer to it, like Lenny Kravitz is the product of a curious white boy. You know, in case for those of you who don't know, Lenny Kravitz's mother was the wonderful, the
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous Roxy Roker,
Right. Yep.
who we were most familiar with as Helen Willis on The Jeffersons,
Yep.
and who was married to a white. I can't remember his father's name right now,
Mm-hmm.
but married a white man. And imagine that is your story.
That's
You
your
know, you're
story.
the offspring of that story.
Mm-hmm. Man, so yes, Curious White Boy, if you listen to nothing else on the record, go there. Um one of my favorite songs I have about 5. The whole record bangs, but
Right.
um one a song that really opened me up to a different way of communicating black music was Naheo, cuz I had never heard um native rhythms kind of infused into my contemporary black music. It was the
Mm,
first time that I had heard that, and I liked that because you know she certainly honors her Native American heritage
absolutely.
throughout her, like it's part of who she is, and that's one of the reasons why. One of the things that people know her for is honoring that part of her heritage too. But the fact that she incorporated it into this song in a way that allowed for storytelling, I really love. So Naheo is another joint. So listen to these joints. Curious White Boy, definitely Naheo. Um, One of my favorites. Had you heard Sir Daniel, if you can recall from when you were younger, did you remember hearing traditional native rhythms in songs?
Definitely no. Or if I did, I didn't know that they were traditional native
Mm,
rhythms. Um, yeah, to that point, I think, and she probably advocated to have that be a part of
mhm,
everything she did because it was even written into like part of her script
mhm.
as Freddie Brooks
Yep.
on A Different
A different
World.
world.
So shout out to her for always representing that part of her. And we're all the better for it,
Mhm.
for having these people have the gumption, the intestinal fortitude to ask to demand for these things to be put on front street, to be celebrated, because now we can go back and say and point and say, oh yes, if you didn't know, there's a connection between um black Americans and
Mm.
Native Americans. Yes,
Yep.
it's not just, I got Indian in my
Indian in my
family.
family. Yep.
Some people
Yep.
really do have Indian
Yeah.
in their
Right.
family. So I
You
love that all of that is represented in this artistry and causes this kind of conversation.
yeah. Um, it's so funny growing up in a place where people said that regularly, and
Hmm.
it was. But what's so interesting is, of course, we learned as we get older, they're using it as a way to differentiate themselves. They're a different kind of black.
Right.
They're not like black black.
I'm
They're this other black.
I'm not regular black. I'm
Right.
like premium black.
Right. Not
I'm
premium.
I'm platinum black. You know. Okay, guys.
Listen. Um. So one of the songs that I've also mentioned, it is a song that I sing with all the love that I can muster. It is a song called "Life Goes On," which is on this record, track 6, I believe. And I'm just going to read a couple of pieces of the lyrics.
Oh, you're not gonna sing?
You must think life goes on forever,
Wait,
the way
stop.
you
Because we
bide
don't want to
your
get
time.
pulled. We don't want to get pulled.
I'm going to say I sound just like Cree, so they might
They
like
might
cancel this.
no, because no, but the algorithms might pick it up and mute this whole conversation. So
Exactly. So you must think life goes on forever, the way you bide your time, the way you talk to me, the way you talk too much, the way that you stop trying. You believe life goes on forever, the way the sun sets, the way you feed your fear, the way you regress. Life after life goes on until it bores you to a death, even more frightening than being alive. You pretend life goes on forever and a day wasting away. Just so poetic
that's
and
heavy.
true.
Very true. Like those things resonate with you more as you get older
Mhm.
because you have a lot of years to look back on.
Mm.
And there's still for us, we still have, God willing, we have a lot more years to still look forward to.
Yep.
But yeah, regret is definitely one of those things that you don't want hanging around.
Hmm.
You don't want hanging around. You want to believe, you want to know that you have lived your life to the fullest. And that includes listening to really great works of art like Street Faërie and listening to
Yeah.
Q Points podcast. Because what else?
Yeah.
Would you feel good about yourself if you look back over your life and realize that you missed out on one of the best podcasts in the world? Like, oh, and like I asked last week, what's your favorite podcast?
Please go back and listen to last week's show about Swarm. We had a really good time. And if you haven't watched Swarm, definitely check it out. Drop in the chat if you've watched Swarm and checked it out. Um, I am, uh, Sir Daniel, I am wondering,
Hmm.
are we in a time where we are able to. So here's the thing: Street Fairy exists at a time when we were still making records. with like
Mm-hmm.
intention and with like purpose, not just to sell records, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that as a blanket statement like everybody's doing that, but I do think, she was signed to a major, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in our current moment, that looks like a particular way of recording and putting out music. Do you think that we are getting back to the point where folks are ready to reconnect with the artistry of making albums again? I think we talked about this a couple of shows ago too.
I'm going to say yes, only because of I see the conversations.
Mhm.
I see people, the actual artists. I see the DJs. Everybody's saying the same thing. Something is missing,
Mhm.
and I do believe that there is a new generation that has access to the classics, has access to all the vintage music. Funny, we're called vintage now. The
Right.
vintage music that we grew up to, and it's like, oh, that's something is missing from what we're doing now.
Mhm.
And I believe even if they just want to mimic it, if
Mhm.
they mimic it, then they might, you start to feel something, and then you start doing it for real.
Mm.
And so I think absolutely that we are going to see a resurgence of intentional music, a resurgence of people really getting into their artistry and saying something with their music. That's why Tyler the Creator excites me out
Yeah.
of all the young people. He excites me the most. Um, he's so unorthodox, but yet he's a real spitter. He's a real spitter
Yeah.
when it comes to this hip hop shit. Like, he's a real spitter. And shout out to our Canadian cousins. They reminisce over you. They recently did an episode called
Was
Real
it
Rap,
real rap
New
for
for Old Heads.
for old heads? Yeah.
For old heads. And I was like, that's exactly it. You got your core days, people like that we can that resonate with us because they're calling back to the ancestors and are
Mhm.
actually putting in the heart and soul that I feel we feel has been missing for a while from this music. So I'm excited for the future of music. I know there's a lot going on. If we could separate the social media from the music, maybe, and get back to it, that then things will really be a-okay. But I guess we're married to the mob now. We have to use social media to help promote stuff, but it's like it's such a double edged sword,
Yeah, I agree. I want to say that first and foremost, I absolutely agree. I do think separating social media from the making of music is kind of untethering from the TikTokification of the
Mm.
music. If we could get there and untether ourselves from that TikTokification of it all, I think some of these kids, like if they're looking at like the Tylers of the world, can create art like Cree Summer Street Faërie too. They have enough influences that they can pull from all of these different places to kind of create this beautiful music. I will say this though. We do still need music in schools. Like we need these folks to be able to um have some education around how to create, because the thing that makes Street Fairy work is the fact that Lenny Kravitz is a musician and he
Mm-hmm.
understands how to structure and produce a song, right? So Cree definitely has got the writing down. She knows how to write a lyric that's going to hook you. But child, if you got a hot lyric can only get you so far, right?
It's the interpretation, and
Hmm.
as an actress, that's in her wheelhouse, is how to interpret a lyric. It's like interpreting the script for a scene.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, and that takes commitment. That
Hmm.
takes, what it takes most of all. It takes a human connection,
Hmm.
and I think what's going to happen is if we don't start reconnecting and viewing each other as humans and tapping into our emotions and our feelings, we're not going to get that in the music, and then the music won't mean anything. That's what's made the centuries of music from the past mean something, is because there was raw, real emotions, real people behind the music. We're living in an AI world now,
Mm.
and they're very upfront about replacing real people to front and perform music. So if that's going to happen, AI can't replicate emotions. AI can't replicate
Yet.
lived. Well, AI can't we hope not, but it can't replicate lived
Mm-mm.
experiences and translate that into a sound, into vibrations that each of us will feel every time somebody opens their mouth to sing. I just don't. I really can't imagine a world where a computer can imitate the vocal tone of Nina Simone and recreate a song using her voice, but it's not going to have the same impact as what we got when she was alive because of her lived experiences through this country, or what was going on in this country. You get what I'm saying?
I okay. Before I listened to the Tech John podcast this week, I was right there with you. So one of the things, shout out. Okay, we mentioned all the podcasts. So definitely check out They Reminisce Over You.
Mhm.
Also check out the Tech John. I talked about them on However Comma earlier this week. But they had this interesting conversation this week about there was an AI string that was able to scam people because the AI was able to figure out if you said no to the AI was learning how to trick you. Like the
Mm.
AI sounded like a human, and it was smart enough to know, like, oh, if I can't get them like this, let me try it like this. You know what I'm saying? And literally, this AI is acting like a human being. So I think a year ago, I would have said, uh, no, nobody can mimic, AI can't mimic that feeling.
Hmm.
But I think what we're learning is that the technology is far enough along where it can. And the only reason that folks aren't already doing it is because right now people are saying no, right?
Right.
If folks had said that FN Mika thing was okay,
Mm.
we would be AI, it would be AI groups down. And I want to make another note because people during that FN Mika thing was like, well, we had the gorillas. The gorillas were actual musicians. They were just cartoons representing the musicians. There was
Right.
actual people, including
Behind
De
it.
La Soul, shout out to them, behind that group, right? So if FN Mika was able to get through as kind of this AI musician hybrid thing, we would have more of that. Honestly, with the way things is going now I don't know if you saw recently, they're talking about we don't need to hire models because we got
Yes.
AI to create
Hmm. To
the
create the
the
diversity,
diversity we need.
which is it's so loud and so wrong. But Trey in the chat has really, I don't know, he just said something that really got my attention.
Mhm.
They may have been using AI already to make these posthumous albums of artists who have died.
Ooh,
Because you gotta
ooh.
think, if Tupac died, how long ago has it been now?
It's been
19
it's been almost 30 years now.
30.
1996. It's almost 30
Jesus,
years.
yeah. And it's still it's still dropping albums, and all of a sudden these newfound verses have been found. You gotta start wondering, okay, is this really, did Pac really have that many joints before he died, or is this AI? I think we're really going to have to start questioning what is being placed in front of us and demanding receipts. I don't know. What are we going to do? Are we going to have to start asking our artists, like, listen, is this really you?
Well, here's what's crazy because we talked about this during our show. We'll have to put that show in here. I think it was The Machines Are Coming, where
Yes.
Pac was kind of the first testing ground. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to my cousin Meredith is in the joint too. We're gonna go back to his comment because I think it's a really good comment. Pac was the first testing ground for how far we were willing to go.
The
Remember, because the
hologram.
hologram,
Yeah.
and we said, "Cool, y'all can perform with holograms." I thought that shit was weird, but we were saying
Ugly.
that's cool.
No, we didn't. I know I didn't, especially after seeing that Whitney Houston hologram. That took the cake.
Mhm.
The Whitney Houston
That
hologram was
looked
horrible.
that
That
was
looked a
not
mess.
that was a mess. That was a mess.
That
No,
was not Whitney Elizabeth by any
no,
means.
that ain't our nippy. Um, and and we talked about this on that show as well. Is the only one of these hologrammy things that I could see being a hologram was Michael Jackson because he kind of was poisoning himself to be a hologram at some point, right?
Right.
But yeah, I want to go back to what Meredith said. In my opinion, mainstream radio stations have made music a single industry. I don't think this young generation has enough attention span to appreciate whole albums. Back in the day, we listened to the whole album. I mean, real talk, with the era of streaming, we talked about this before on previous shows. You get to curate what you get to make a playlist of all the things you want to hear that day.
Right.
There's value in that. We always made a hot CD mix.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of DJ Sir Daniel, a really, really good, well mixed version.
Right. Or even back to when we made cassettes.
Right. So, but it's different, right? It's different.
Very different.
It's really, and it's instant. Like, remember some stuff you couldn't put on your mix because you didn't have it. Like, I don't have it. I can't put this.
Right.
I want it on my mix, but I don't have it. So, interesting. I think we're in an interesting time. I hope folks can get back. Street Faërie is a dope ass record that folks need to revisit. Because I think there's gems in there. First of all, folks can be remaking some stuff, no shade. But also, it's just a really good album by a Black woman doing rock and roll. Like, y'all need to be up on this.
You absolutely do. And you know what? You just unlocked something else, J. Ray. I say the same thing all the time. Why aren't new artists revisiting like some really, I know they want to sample stuff.
Yeah.
But a really well-made cover,
yes,
can have such a dope impact. It can open you up to a whole new audience. It can bring in older generations to listen to your stuff. I mean, there's just so many positives to doing a really good cover.
Yep.
Do you know if Brownstone had not done I Can't Tell You Why, I may not have explored the Eagles.
Yep.
Because I was exposed to the Eagles version through Brownstone.
Absolutely.
And then you get all this really dope stuff that you're like, oh, I've already been an Eagles fan because I know this song as well. We're really selling ourselves short here. We really are. But yes, this has been J. Ray. I gotta thank you for hipping me to the Street Faërie and indoctrinating me into the fairy hive and just really making this a reality that we should explore. If you are in the Atlanta area this weekend, Saturday specifically, April 1st, this is not an April Fool's joke. Please come out to JB's Record Lounge for where you can be in the midst of people that also curate music, that also love music and appreciate music in the form of especially vinyl, because my crew, the Wax Fundamentals crew, will be out doing at least 4 to 6 hours worth of sets of really dope, just great curation of music and actually DJing, like
Hmm.
legit DJing the old school way, two turntables and a mixer and nothing but vinyl. And make sure you bring your pocket money because I'm sure you're going to find some really dope finds in JB's record lounge because he has the stacks, my folks. He really does.
Absolutely. And make sure if you are anywhere in the Atlanta area, April
Hmm.
1st to April 15th, visit
Yes.
alliancetheater.org and get tickets to The Boy Who Kissed the Sky. The musical composers are Divinity Rocks and Eugene H. Russell IV. They were on Q Points. The link to that will be in the description. We had an amazing conversation about that particular play as well as rock and roll and
Hmm.
all of that. So be down for that. And if you ever have an opportunity and you're in Houston, visit Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics. I like I said, I had a great time over there today. I've been grateful to connect with the Black folks of Houston and get a little bit of some Houston history under my belt as my first time here, and I'm really really grateful. But check us out, y'all. So make sure if you are hearing our voices, subscribe to the podcast and share it. If you are seeing our faces, subscribe to the podcast. Right. Subscribe to the podcast and share it. You can go one step further. You could subscribe on our website at qpoints.com. It keeps this train moving. You can support us by shopping in our store, store.qpoints.com. Get yourself some hot merch, you know what I'm saying, and do all of that. So, Sir Daniel, I'm grateful for you. This was an amazing show.
I'm grateful for you as well. J Ray, what do I always say in this life? You have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or let the music play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is J Ray, y'all.
This has been Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you all on the next go round. Peace.
Peace.